especially in the hotels where the main events are taking place. I'm broadcasting from the California delegation breakfast, and this is where all of the lawmakers from the Golden State, where I typically would be broadcasting from, this is where they gather to network, to set their agenda for the week ahead, and to hear from some of the big names in the California Democratic Party. In this section of the hotel, you can see the breakfasts for all of the various delegations. Right around the corner is Wyoming. There are a number of, every ballroom here has a different delegation, but of course, California is among the biggest. This is the Grand Ballroom here. I see Rusty Hicks walking by right now. Yvonne Wheeler, Yvonne Wheeler, of course, from the LA County Fed, rolling up. This is literally a who's who. As I flew in yesterday morning very early, there was a ton of people from California, names and faces you'll recognize. I actually have ended up spending quite a bit of time with Council Member Heather Hutt, who was on the same plane as me, and they've just been, the California love is undeniable. They have been amazing in helping me gain access to places I might not have been able to get into on my own. And you know what else you can really feel in the air? You can feel the California pride, the fact that the Democrat at the top of the ticket is from the Golden State, Kamala Harris. You can feel the pride and the ease of Black women here. As I said, got to talk with and spend some time. I actually hit the town a little bit last night, but it was all parties that were part of the Democratic National Convention. There are conventions, there are parties, there are conferences, tributes, meetings, just all over this town. The challenge is that because the security is so tight, it makes it almost, I want to say almost impossible to navigate. You can't really drive. The ride share services are not coming in over here to where the hotels are. So it's going to take some real ingenuity if you want to get around, or some walking shoes. Luckily, I'm in my walking shoes. Hi to the California delegation. That is Yvonne Wheeler, arguably one of the movers and shakers. Are you going to come back and talk to me? Oh, happy day. Good morning, Miss Wheeler. Let me tell you, the movers and shakers of California are in this spot. I was talking to Dr. Ben Chavis, who is here for another delegation. I see Mike Davis from the Pioneer Democratic Club, and there are so many familiar faces and voices. I don't know how folks are getting around, because I'm telling you, I did put, oh, there it goes. Supervisor Holly Mitchell. I'm broadcasting live. Were you going to come over here and say hi, sister girl? See, this is a real one right here. She got out the line and came over. Oh, and she has on the cutest hot pink Kamala shirt, 47, that you bought on La Brea. See, that's what you call recycling Black dollars. Good morning, Supervisor.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm thrilled to see you here so we can make sure that our folks back home know the history we're all about to make.
Do you feel a certain swagger with the Black women at this convention so far?
God, come on. You know, the call that happened that Sunday with tens of thousands of Black women that went on like forever. It was like 3 hours, and we kept us going in and we just couldn't get off. I have felt that swagger, elation since then. It's amazing.
And you feel like, do you feel like even here in this convention, in this moment, does it feel different to you? I know you've been to more than one of these.
You know, I was just thinking, I remember going to my first convention. I was just out of my Coral Foundation fellowship, had been hired by Diane Watson, and one of my first assignments was Atlanta, where I met Shirley Chisholm, where I met Andrew Young, it was my first trip to the South. You know, I'm a third generation Native Angelino, and the energy, and it was like my head was on a swivel. I remember Reverend Jackson's speech, "Your patch isn't big enough," like it was yesterday, when he talked about the importance of the collective. I remember being on the couch. Ryan, my son, was born in August, so I missed the 2000 convention in LA and watching it on TV with this newborn on my shoulder, thinking this work is so important for him and his generation. And here I am in 2024 with the opportunity as a PLEO delegate to cast my vote for Kamala Harris for President of the United States. It gives me chills just saying it to you, literally.
I know you're making me tear up. And when you were saying that, I just thought you mentioned Dr. King, and I just thought about the Reverend James Lawson, who was such a mentor to you. And I wondered, how are you handling his loss?
I had the privilege of participating a couple of weeks ago in an interview for a documentary that they're making on his life. So really, to prepare for that, I really kind of thought back, and it was questions around impact he had on me. I spoke the Friday before a Saturday service, and told stories. And this is the time he prepared us all for. And so I don't feel a sadness, because he lived the kind of life you and I would be privileged to have, to continue to fight on behalf of what he believed in to this very last breath. And he prepared us. He prepared me. And so we have a responsibility to step in the gap. This morning on the CBS Morning Show, which I watch religiously, was a beautiful historical kind of piece on 68 right here in Chicago. And it was a Black female political science professor that they interviewed, who said that it's very different from 68 because we were not included in 68.
That's a really important point, and we're definitely included here. I mean, I see us everywhere, and in leadership roles.
Chair of the convention,
right? With Minion Moore, right? And you as a true progressive, what do you feel our job is here at the convention this year?
Our job this year is to really make sure that we develop a party platform that is reflective of the needs of our country. We have got to acknowledge that people are hurting. People are hurting in LA County.
Well, congratulations to you, by the way, on passing that reparations motion. We were all cheering loudly on the radio.
I appreciate that. That's the kind of work that we have to do. Elections should not, I was having a conversation with someone in line. Elections can't be popularity contests. This is not a popularity contest. The vice president is ready, is poised, has the capacity to lead this country in what will be some very difficult years with the number of unhoused and just what's going on in the world. Who better than her to step in on the world stage to talk about the issues that have to be addressed, that are fact-based, not some made up fantasy about what fuels our economy, about what characteristics world leaders respect. Her opponent is dangerous. He's dangerous for me. He's dangerous for my Black son. So when we recognize what we need to get done in LA County, we need the support of the federal government. We've had it the past 4 years with the infrastructure bill, the CARES Act, all of the dollars that came through as a result of COVID. California did well. The federal government saw us and supported us. And I think with her election, those resources will continue.
Well, I don't want to keep you from your breakfast, but Supervisor Holly Mitchell, thank you so much for stopping at our little spot here. And I appreciate all the work that you're doing.
I appreciate you being here and being a part of this history. We're going to share this history together. Everyone voting this November, my family and friends say, you say that every election, like this is the most important election of our time. and maybe I do, and maybe every election cycle I feel it is. This one, we saw what he did to us in 4 years that will continue because he had the power to appoint Supreme Court justices who continue to take rights away. Dominique, we're trying to fight for expanded rights, not have to renegotiate rights that we thought were given 50 years plus ago. So for young people, for old people, for all of us, if we want a future where our environment is protected, because he will X out the EPA, where public education is protected, where workers' rights are protected, voting for this ticket for Kamala Harris for president is our only option. And we can't be all excited here at the convention and wear the swag and the t-shirts and not send money to support this campaign, walk precincts, and make sure everyone we know shows up on election day. We all have a role to play.
Yeah, well, let's get in formation. Come on, let's do it.
Absolutely. I'm ready.
You're already in formation. I see Supervisor Holly Mitchell, and thank you so much. We are broadcasting from the California Democratic Party, California Delegation Breakfast. Thank you so much, Supervisor Mitchell. The other thing I'm loving here is that the sisterhood is real. You can feel it. I mean, just everywhere I go, the Black women from California are looking out for KBLA, are showing love, and are just absolutely understanding the assignment. We understand the assignment. We are here and we are ready to party, but we're also ready to work. And it's so evident. And so I'm going to continue to bring you some exciting conversations live from the California Delegation Breakfast inside the Democratic National Convention, Chicago, Illinois, with KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Work is busy, and home, Mom, pretty much the same. But you wouldn't know it because my skin doesn't look stressed thanks to Olay Retinol Body Wash. Its hydrating formula is packed with vitamin B3 complex plus retinol. I use Olay Retinol Body Wash to transform my skin from dry to moisturized and visibly renewed. Sure, I still have stress, but my skin looks amazing. Try Olay Retinol Body Wash for visibly renewed skin in just 14 days. Also try Retinol 24 Body Lotion.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice, and injustice. The courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
We're back to me, KBLA Talk 1580. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me in those headphones? Oh, wow. We're doing really good. We are broadcasting live from the California Delegation Breakfast inside the Democratic National Convention. And I just happened to run into one of our movers and shakers there in Los Angeles, who's been kind enough to stop by. Mike Davis, you've held just about every position in the Democratic Party. What's your official capacity here at the convention?
Yes, it's first of all an honor for me to be here with you, Dominique, and all of the great work that you've done in our community over the years. As you know, I've worked at probably every level of government in the city of Los Angeles. I worked in the state assembly with Assemblywoman Maxine Waters as her district director. I worked in the county of Los Angeles as senior deputy for Supervisor Yvonne Brathwaite Burke. I was very fortunate and blessed to be a state legislator representing South Los Angeles, the USC area, and the Wilshire area. And additionally, I have served as in the executive branch of government as commissioner for the great city of Los Angeles, of which I currently do serve. But politically, I am extremely involved in the politics of Los Angeles because I know that's where change takes place. I'm the president of New Frontier Democratic Club, which is the oldest and largest Democratic club in the state of California. As you know, it started in 1960 when John Kennedy came to Exposition Park, and he was the keynote speaker at the Democratic National Convention there in 1960. It was a time historically where African Americans were searching for inclusion, and he spoke at that convention about a new frontier. As a result of that, the community activists in Los Angeles, Judge Sherman Smith, his wife Helen, who was a diverse group of individuals, 19 of whom started the New Frontier Democratic Club. So I'm the president now, and what we do is we look for progressive candidates to run for public office. Our first candidate back in 1960, before my time of activism, was to work to make sure that LA had its first elected Democratic candidate, and his name was Tom Bradley.
And what an historical candidacy that was, and not just candidacy, but incumbency as well.
Absolutely. And so he went on to become the first elected city councilman in the great city of Los Angeles in what is now called and then called the 10th Council District. So yes, that is my role. That's where I have been in Los Angeles. And I'm very fortunate today to be here at the Democratic National Committee convention as a delegate at large and appointed by the state of California and the presidential campaign. And initially, we supported the great work that President Joe Biden has done. And we're equally as enthusiastic about what has developed as the leading candidate for our country, Kamala Harris.
I'm laughing because you say equally as, but I mean, certainly what I'm seeing with Black people around here in this convention, of which there seems to be quite a few of us for some reason, is a lot of extra enthusiasm at this historic moment.
Absolutely, because again, when we look at our own experience, the African-American experience, we've gone from slavery to freedom. And we know what it means to...
Are we at freedom?
Well, we have gone, at least physically, from slavery to freedom historically. And John Hope Franklin wrote the book From Slavery to Freedom, one of my favorite history books. But our experience causes us to be intricately involved in the political process because we know what's possible.
We know what's possible. And you, as a delegate, well, we got news, traffic, and sports in 2 minutes. I hope you can stay with me for a couple minutes more after that. But as a delegate, what does that look like in terms of your responsibilities?
In terms of what we need to do is to make sure that we have a candidate who reflects the values of America, that understands that when you run for president of the United States, like in most public offices, you are representing several interest groups, several variables of issues that are critically important to the lives of others. And so in that very serious responsibility, we need an individual who can best serve our country, a person who can reflect what America stands for. It stands for the American dream. Which of these two candidates do you believe will best represent the leadership that will create opportunities for the American dream for those that you know?
I'm laughing because to say that Mike Davis is fired up would be an understatement. You seem like you're really ready to go. I think for a lot of us, we just don't know what delegates actually do or how you become one. But I think, I mean, obviously that what you just outlined is important, and it counteracts a talking point that I hear being thrown around right now, which is, well, we didn't elect Kamala Harris. She was appointed, or she was anointed, or she was coronated. And so when we come forward, I'd love for you to explain, you know, what was the process of her actually formally getting the nomination? Mike Davis of the New Frontier Democratic Club has been kind enough to stop by my little booth here at the Democratic Convention. We'll continue after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right. More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now, here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Palestinian authorities say Israeli strikes in the Gaza Strip killed 19 people yesterday, including 6 children. Health officials say the children and their mother were killed in an airstrike on a house in central Gaza. The 2024 Democratic National Convention kicks off in Chicago. President Biden will take the convention stage tonight at the United Center to make the case for Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Former New York Congressman George Santos is expected to plead guilty this afternoon in his federal corruption case. There are reports that Santos will make a court appearance in Central Islip, where he'll admit to charges as part of a plea deal weeks before his trial was scheduled to have started. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Dominican slugger Teoscar Hernandez will send you home on Tuesday, August 20th with your next bobblehead. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance versus the Mariners to receive an exclusive Teoscar Hernandez bobblehead presented by Inaba. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NBA schedule is out for the 2024-25 season. Here's a few dates to put on your calendar. The Lakers play their regular season home opener against Minnesota on October 22nd. The Lakers are also part of the NBA's 5-game lineup on Christmas Day. They'll be at Golden State. First regular season home game for the Clippers in their new arena, the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, is October 23rd against Phoenix. Clippers owner Steve Ballmer was part of the sellout crowd Thursday night that watched a 2-hour performance by Bruno Mars in the first event at the Intuit Dome. Ballmer spent $2 billion of his own money to build the new arena for his team. Tomorrow night at 7 here on KBLA, join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough for Out of Bounds, 60 minutes of sports chatter with some flavor. You can join the conversation at 1-800-920-1580. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey LA. Today I'm here to talk to you about Grid Alternatives, which is a nonprofit in LA that focuses on renewable energy. We serve communities who have been left out of the renewable energy sector. We offer paid job training, and in 13 weeks, you can become a solar installer. 80% of our graduates get hired into the industry, and once you're hired in the industry, you stop at a high, medium income. That could be $20 an hour or more. 80% of our graduates get hired into the industry. Call today so you don't be left out at 323-861-0105 or gridalternatives.org, gridalternatives.org.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company. To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys. Let's take our auntie to the swap meet. Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8% must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed, I thank you. We are at the Democratic National Convention. I decided to go live on Instagram in case you want to see me, see Mike Davis. Mike Davis's intern from Morehouse is here with us, and hopefully we're going to get a chance to talk to him as well, because I love to hear different perspectives and different experiences here inside the DNC. Why did you come? What are you doing here? What's the purpose? And so we were talking about being a delegate. Most of us don't know how you get to be a delegate. You were appointed. Some people run. What other ways? It makes me think of Bobby Jean Anderson. May she rest in peace.
Reminded of Bobby Jean Anderson, and her good friend and associate Jimmy Woods Gray is in fact here as well. And they have been activists for many decades, coming to Democratic conventions. And really over time, we begin to measure our lives by the Democratic National Convention that comes up every 4 years. You know, who was president during that period of time? What Democratic National Convention was it, and what city was it held in? And so these milestones are what the reflection of the Democratic Convention is. We kind of measure things that have happened in our lives by the Democratic Convention, where it was again, and what we were doing during that time.
And so if you get appointed because you're someone like you who's very active, and the party takes notice and they say, Mike Davis should be a delegate. Some people run. How do you run for federal? Okay, let's do that.
There are three ways to be a delegate. The first one is the district representation, which is divided based upon congressional districts. Usually there is a location and that there is a date, time certain, in which there is a town hall like meeting where people come and vote. And the top candidates, each district is designated a certain amount of delegates, somewhere between 6 and 7 usually. And so the top 6 and 7 candidates and an alternate are chosen. Those who get the most votes in this democracy become delegates. The second way is PLEO, party leaders and elected officials that are selected by the state party. And those individuals are a certain number designated by the state and the party. And those individuals become delegates. And the third way is the presidential party campaign picks a certain number of individuals as well for delegates at large, which is also confirmed by the state party leadership. So there are three ways in which an individual becomes a delegate: through district election, through congressional districts, as well as PLEO. They are elected party leaders in the Democratic Party or elected officials for city council, state legislature, who are chosen. And then finally, the presidential party will choose activists who've been very active as well, a certain number. And those are the three ways in which you become a delegate.
And then once you become a delegate, what do you have to do?
You ultimately vote for the nominee for the Democratic Party, president, that will be the candidate for president for our party. So it is a very important position, and to understand the process as a delegate in terms of being involved is something that you gain as being a delegate. So I'm voting for Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee for the Democratic Party because I know of the work that she has done in the state of California. I helped to work with her when she was Attorney General for the state of California, and I helped support her when she was a United States Senator for the great state of California. And so the very difficult problems that arise in issues where there is a prosecutorial authority are very difficult, but they have to be done. Someone has to make sure that people are protected, your seniors, your children, and communities. And that person is now and has always been our district attorneys at the local level and our state attorney general at the state level. Kamala has done that very tough job.
So to people who say, oh, she was anointed, she was appointed, it's not a democratic process, or even Donald Trump, who goes a step further and says that Biden was somehow robbed, even though Biden has endorsed Kamala Harris, with all his heart, seemingly. What do you say about that process and how they can rest assured that the democratic process followed a normal procedure in her nomination?
Well, it appears to me to be a decision that was made by President Biden to eventually, after hearing every wish that people had, he made the decision to step aside, but he also made the decision that his vice president, which when we look at the hierarchical structure, after the president comes what? The vice president. So it is a part of the process that in absent of the president, the vice president would be the person that would be able to be in leadership. He supported that process when he made the decision that he would step aside, and I support it. It makes good sense, and it's the process by which our hierarchical structure in this country has been designed: president, vice president. So yes, I think his decision was one that we can live with. And it appears from everything that we have observed that it has reinvigorated the American public to get someone who presents, as compared to their opponent, to be a progressive candidate. People talk about, well, what is a perfect candidate? I can tell you our choice is very clear. We have one person who has helped to fight for public safety in our community, and we have another person that we don't really know about. And our choice for many of us is very clear. And so I appreciate what the president did in his decision making. I support it.
Right. But after the president made his decision, then you, the delegates, already voted virtually, right? It's not like she can just say, oh, I'm the nominee. It has to be confirmed by the majority of the delegates to the Democratic Party.
As politics goes, yes, when you're politicking, and I know just a little bit about it, you go out and you go to see what kind of support you can get. And the goal is to get support at every level of politics. And that's exactly what Kamala Harris did. In a democracy, people have ideas, and you heard some of the ideas here. Some people wanted, what they call, I guess, an open convention. And it is open. It's open for everybody, including open for Kamala Harris.
Well, I appreciate your sharing with us. And if you want to, just let people know how they can get involved with New Frontier, go ahead and give out that info, because maybe if they work really hard and get involved with organizations like New Frontier, that's one way to end up as a delegate, right?
Absolutely. And also to be involved in your community at every level, city council, at county board of supervisor level, at the state legislative level, and finally at the federal level. New Frontier Democratic Club advocates for people who have been left out and locked out of the system historically, and for progressive candidates who create an opportunity for the American dream for all of us. NewFrontierDemocraticClub.org is how you can go online and join New Frontier. You can do it online. And we meet monthly, the third Tuesday of every month. And we recruit candidates who want to run for every level of office that serves our public.
Mike Davis, thank you so much for talking with me this morning. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And it's always a pleasure to listen, and I will be listening.
You can hear the wild cheering, so somebody's up on that stage. We are expecting a lot of big name speakers today from California, from the state of California, which just so happens to be one of the bigger delegations here. It's funny because people, just walking around with some of my California colleagues and friends, people point us out. You look like you're from the Golden State, and my friends, I take that as a compliment. We are inside the California delegation breakfast for the Democratic National Caucus. You want to step up to the microphone for a moment, young man? We have a student at Morehouse College who I think just shared with me that this is his very first Democratic convention or Republican convention or any political convention. Introduce yourself to the KBLA audience.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Sterling Gabriel. I'm a rising senior at Morehouse College from Charlotte, North Carolina. And of course, I'm here at the Democratic National Convention with a very good friend of mine, Commissioner Mike Davis of Los Angeles. And I really just think that it's important that young people, especially, people my generation, even millennials as well, get out to vote. Because I think that we have a strong representation in this country, and that we have power behind our voice, power behind our vote, and our ability to use our right. And I believe that we are the ones making the difference overall.
I believe you're right about that. And well, first of all, Morehouse, your particular college took some heat earlier this year because you had Biden come and speak, and some folks thought that was electioneering. People, of course, students were protesting across the country, and they continue to do so around Gaza. There's even some here in Chicago. How did you personally resonate with that? How did you process it?
So for me personally, I think that it is important that if, at the time, President Biden was our Democratic nominee, right, for this upcoming election. And I think that it's still important for our Democratic candidate to still be able to, get even if it is for some publicity. I think that it's important that he gets that exposure still, so that we can still have the Democratic Party in office as opposed to the Republican Party being in office.
And how did you feel, or what did you think when Biden passed the mic, so to speak, to Kamala Harris?
Honestly, I think it was a big sigh of relief for a lot of our members of our party, just because Kamala Harris she's very much qualified for this position. She's someone that's a lot of people appreciate, especially within the Black community as well, and the HBCU community, obviously, with her attending Howard University. And I mean, I think that it's really just a breath of fresh air, and that she really deserves this spot, and that she can take this country in a positive direction.
With all of the, not just controversy, but also conversation at Morehouse and in your friend group, do you feel a shift in attitude and enthusiasm? I know just from being the mom of a teenager that there is a certain disillusionment among my son's friend group. And I'm just wondering if you feel a shift, and if you do, what is that?
So yes, 100%. So like I said, it's like a breath of fresh air. So you can tell even with more young people in general are actually getting more involved with politics ever since that they've seen that Kamala is, actually our nominee, our candidate. And so seeing that, it's great to see younger people in politics now, because there's people, that I know personally that were not necessarily interested in politics or, in who the next president was going to be. But then they see that we have a much stronger candidate and someone that they like and appreciate much more. We actually get to see these younger people being more involved and actually wanting to get out to vote now. Do you actually see people that never mentioned anything about politics before mentioning get out to vote, make sure you vote when the time comes?
And what are you seeing and hearing at this convention? I mean, this is your first one. This is kind of how the sausage is made, as they say, right? What are you learning, seeing, hearing that's surprising, interesting, or, not what you thought?
So I flew in yesterday, so I haven't had much time yet, but so far I've been able to meet a great amount of really good people, and just hear a lot of different things about this upcoming election. I mean, a lot of people are very confident, and I mean, it's nice to hear the positive words that people are saying about our future president.
And what are you hoping to accomplish, learn, do? Are you going to run for office, by the way?
To be determined.
I mean, you definitely have the vibe. You have the I'm running for office vibe. I know you haven't graduated from college yet. Okay, so what are you hoping to accomplish here at the DNC?
So I'm hoping to get some valuable insight. I mean, I think it's important that young people are able to be in some rooms like this, especially young people of color as well, just because, this is a field, of course, that has always been dominated by typically white men in America. And I think that it's great to be able to, for our people to have these opportunities to be able to, get our foot in the door. We need to be able to be in the room to be able to not only see what's going on, but be able to make a difference in the future as well. Because I mean, it's not just about us. It's also about, just making this world a better place, not just for us, but the future generations to come.
Thank you so much for stopping by. It's great to talk with you. And I hope you get everything that you came here to get.
Thank you so much. It was great meeting you as well. Great talking with you.
Absolutely. This is KBLA Talk 1580. We're on Instagram for a minute, and we are broadcasting on traditional terrestrial radio. Also, you get the audio on YouTube, but I'm not in the studio. So if you want to see me, you have to go to IG. We are broadcasting from the California Delegation Breakfast inside the DNC on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys. Let's take our auntie to the swap meet. Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8% must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
Chevy Radio 30 before and after, code GWMR 0254000.
With the incredibly spacious 3-row Chevy Traverse, you can change
"Let's just meet at the concert"
into
"Why don't I pick all you guys up on the way?"
The advanced safety engineered Chevy Blazer EV lets you turn
"You think we should turn back?"
into full steam ahead. And with the affordable Equinox EV,
keep an eye out for the next Charger, kids.
Becomes
Get comfortable, kids. We'll be home in 4 hours.
For summer adventures, Chevy's got you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Support comes from Getty, presenting Memnon, a world premiere theatrical event under the stars. Memnon tells the tale of a powerful Ethiopian king who fights alongside Troy during the city's darkest hour. This epic Greek myth has been overlooked for over a millennium. Until now. Memnon is co-produced by the Classical Theater of Harlem, Thursdays through Saturdays this September at the Getty Villa Museum. Tickets are available now at getty.edu.
Work is busy, and home? Mom! Pretty much the same. But you wouldn't know it because my skin doesn't look stressed thanks to Olay Retinol Body Wash. Its hydrating formula is packed with vitamin B3 complex plus retinol. I use Olay Retinol Body Wash to transform my skin from dry to moisturized and visibly renewed. Sure, I still have stress, but my skin looks amazing. Try Olay Retinol Body Wash for visibly renewed skin in just 14 days. Also try Retinol 24 Body Lotion.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and we're live. We're live at the DNC. You know, things be happening in hotels and, of course, the convention center. We're inside the Hyatt Regency. There's actually 3 different Hyatts here in Chicago, and the one called Wacker or Hyatt Regency Chicago is where a lot of the delegates are staying, from what I'm gathering, as well as a number of the elected officials. And coincidentally, many of the elected officials are also delegates. It's not coincidental at all. If you listen to what Mike Davis just explained about how people are selected or can be elected to be candidates, to be delegates. So a lot of them are here at this hotel, and this is where many of the meetings, inter-party meetings, are going on right now. As I said, there are delegations from a number of different states, none bigger than California, here. And you're starting to see the swag, the buttons, the funny hats, tons and tons of different T-shirts. And then there's another Hyatt, which is called McCormick Center, and that is adjacent to a big convention center. In fact, they're connected by a bridge, and that is where the podcasters are. That is where they have a massive vendor expo. A lot of those vendors are selling different kinds of Democratic Party gear. Kamala Harris gear and different things like that. But there's also many organizing folks, i.e. you see progressives, for change, progressive organizers, you see environmental justice groups, lots of women's rights groups and reproductive justice groups. And they are set up there in order to get the word out among the attendees of the DNC about what the work is that they're doing to sign people up to their specific cause. And people are out there selling stuff. So it's quite a festive kind of fair-like atmosphere. It is more open. The United Center, which is where the actual speeches take place, that goes on later in the day. And you'll see Tavis Smiley broadcasting from there. Possibly you'll see Areva Martin. I say possibly because we are literally in motion, figuring out where's the best place where we can be. How can we bring you the most different voices and candidates that you might not otherwise get. Trying to turn the camera right now so you can see this lady walking by to give you a sense of some of these delegates and their rather festive attire. It's all part of the spirit of getting people involved in politics, getting people involved in this historic nomination. And I was speaking with some folks at the hotel, people who live and work in Chicago, including some of these drivers, because it is, like, as I mentioned, it is not easy to get around right now because the security is so tight everywhere you go. And they were saying that, the hotels and, hotel accommodations and car rentals and things like that had been good, but there was still plenty of room to get in here. And that once the baton was handed off to Kamala Harris as the new nominee, everything started selling out. All of a sudden, everybody in the world was coming to this convention, and you can see it. The hotels are packed. The streets are packed. And this is day one. I mean, what I'm telling you is my experience based on yesterday, which was officially one day before the start of the convention. So the enthusiasm level is measurable in terms of hotel bookings, car rental bookings, and the parties. Shout out to Todd Hawkins. He had a great gathering last night that I got to go to. And again, you saw a lot of folks there. Senator LaFonza Butler was in the house, got a chance to speak with her, and hopefully we'll get her on the microphone for you as well. And a big delegation from labor in the house there as well, folks from SEIU. As I mentioned, Yvonne Wheeler, Council Member Heather Hutt, and many others. And there were so many parties going on at once. I'll tell you more about this because I got a chance to attend an incredible tribute to the Reverend Jesse Jackson that happened here in Chicago at Rainbow Push. What a who's who. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now, here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Palestinian authorities say Israeli strikes in the Gaza Strip killed 19 people yesterday, including 6 children. Health officials say the children and their mother were killed in an airstrike on a house in central Gaza. The 2024 Democratic National Convention kicks off in Chicago. President Biden will take the convention stage tonight at the United Center to make the case for Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Former New York Congressman George Santos is expected to plead guilty this afternoon in his federal corruption case. There are reports that Santos will make a court appearance in Central Islip where he'll admit to charges as part of a plea deal weeks before his trial was scheduled to have started. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Dominican slugger Teoscar Hernandez will send you home on Tuesday, August 20th with your next bobblehead. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance versus the Mariners to receive an exclusive Teoscar Hernandez bobblehead presented by Inaba. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The losing continues for the LA Sparks in the WNBA. They lost by 16 Sunday at Las Vegas. 4th straight loss for the Sparks, who dropped to 6-21. The Sparks are 5 games out of the 8th and final playoff spot with 13 games left on the schedule. The Dodgers are home for a 9-game homestand beginning tonight against Seattle. The Dodgers are 21 games over 500 after winning in St. Louis Sunday. The Angels had a disappointing 1-5 homestand after Sunday's loss to Atlanta. The loss dropped the Angels into last place in the AL West. First time the Angels have been at the bottom since June 8th. The Angels begin a 10-game road trip tonight in Kansas City. Today is August 19th. The Chicago White Sox, with a 30-95 record, the worst in the major leagues, are already eliminated from the playoffs. This is the earliest date a team has been eliminated from the postseason since MLB started divisional playoffs in 1969. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money Talk. Here's what happens when you advertise on KBLA Talk 1580.
3, possibly 4 weeks ago, I heard an advertisement on your radio station from a company called Grid Solar. I would love to have that phone number so I can reach out to them with reference to solar panels being installed on my property.
Our listeners are aware and engaged, but more than that, they are loyal. When they hear empowering messages that uplift their community and help them live better lives, they respond. No medium reaches this coveted black audience like KBLA Talk 1580. So, hit us up today at smb@kbla1580.com and let us help you connect with our loyal listeners. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. Money to put.
It is a who's who of Cali for those who have gotten in early, because I'm hearing from different political operatives, just lawmakers, and also lobbyists and party activists. Some are coming in later in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Everybody will. Joe Biden will speak today. Of course, that will be later in the day.